What's poppin', nieces and nephews? Welcome to JEWAP, which stands for Just Everything with Auntie Pookie podcast. I'm your host, Sydney, or as many know me as Auntie Pookie. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome, and I hope you enjoy this podcast. And if it's not, welcome back. On today's episode, it is Ask Auntie Pookie Anything. You know, people send questions in and they want me to answer them. And, you know, some of these questions are a little intense at times, but some of the questions are just little general things that people would like my opinion on. So I got a couple questions to ask today, and these are really deep questions, and I'm really, I hope I don't get canceled, but they're really good questions, and I've really been thinking about them pretty long and hard. One of the questions is, what do you think about the they, them, non-binary, all of those and above letters? First and foremost, I just want to say I love everybody. I don't love everybody's behavior, but I love everybody. That's what I'm supposed to do as a Christian. And just in general, I have love for everyone. And how I feel about this whole situation with all of the names and things and whatnot, I'm half and half. I think that some of it is just a mess, because if you don't call somebody by what they want you to call them, they get all pissed off. But if I tell somebody I don't want to be called a cisgender, they get all pissed off and don't want to respect what I say. So I really feel like it's a respect factor. If you can't respect that somebody doesn't want to be called something, then you know, it really just negates the opposite end where you want them to call you something and you don't respect that. I think that also it's unfair that they're teaching it in schools, because you're kind of pushing an agenda on kids that they can be all these crazy things. And not saying the them, they, they're, all them. It's crazy. I just feel like, biblically speaking, for me, it's male and female. I know that people get sex changes and stuff, and it's great. It's fine. You want to, if you mentally feel like you're somebody else, then it is what it is. I can't say you don't feel that way, but literally, biologically speaking, if you want to be a woman, you won't be able to have a baby. Like, you can't deliver a baby vaginally. I've seen a surgery where they, invert the penis to make it look like a vagina, and you don't have ovaries to produce a baby. And to be honest, as a female, I don't even like having a uterus. Okay, having a period and dealing with that and your hormones, and my birth was terrible. Having to get a C-section, and then, getting an infection in my muscles from the C-section. I'm trying to tell you right now, being a woman is hard as hell. It is so hard. It is stressful. And it's annoying because people act like because you're a female, you just think with your emotions and you don't think logically. And it's like, I hate that, because I'm the type of female that I have emotional actions, but at the same time, I'm like, nah, I'm not rocking with that. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think too, if you want to be a guy, I don't really know the process of a person getting a penis. I know that women have, like, strap-ons and stuff like that, but I don't feel like, I don't know. I don't know the surgery or anything of those things. So it's like, there's that. Also, for example, I'm going to use Orange is the New Black as an example. Even though it's a show, it's really legit of what they were saying. Like, the one lady who's transgender and she wanted to be a woman and she was taking hormones and stuff. That stuff really jacks people up. And it's just changing everything from your body. It's like almost doing drugs for your body, and your body's like in shock, and now it fiends for it. It needs it. And the same thing with alcoholism. When there's sometimes when people don't drink anymore because they're trying to be sober, and their body is jacked up. They shut down, and sometimes they pass away, So I think that doing all the hormones and stuff, it's really dangerous. And if you really want to do that, you can, but there's just risk factors. And what I think too bothers me, and this is just legit, and again, I hope I don't get canceled, and I hope I don't get hated on or whatever, because again, I love all people, but there are so many issues with black people getting rights, getting treated fairly, and we are still struggling to this day. Black people get treated like we're the scums of the earth. And it just sucks, because if you say something wrong to the LGBTQA+, all of the above, you're literally homophobic. You're a terrorist. You're a hater. You're this and you're that. And it's just like, nah, like, I'm not that way. Why does it make me, I'm not going to say me specifically, but I'm just saying as a whole, like, for a person that's just thinking about, like, why does it make me such a terrorist or a hater when I don't feel that's right and I don't believe it? It goes all the way. For me, it's like being a Christian and people are like, oh, God's not real and all this other stuff, and there's atheists and all this. I literally can have conversations with anyone, but that doesn't make me a hater because I don't agree with it. Now, I don't agree with a lot of things in a lot of communities. Let me just throw that out there. But I do think that understanding communities is a good thing, but you don't have to agree with it. And you should be okay understanding that another person doesn't agree with what you're dealing with. Like, it to me, and I have this conversation with my honey all the time, it's just like, a person can believe in something and really freaking believe in it. And then there's a person who's like, that is the dumbest thing I ever heard, that you believe in that. There is no freaking book on being a human. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no book on, oh, this is the straight and narrow. Yes, for us Christians, we're supposed to follow the Bible, and have our particular relationship with God and all of those things. And I think because people cannot wrap their mind around everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but their opinion really isn't your business. When people really recognize and realize that having your own opinion is just your opinion, that's how you think and live, and I'm different. So I don't have to think that way. I don't have to believe what you believe or think what you think. Now, respecting each other, that's a big thing. It's like, I'll respect that a KKK member hates black people, right? I'll respect it, but I don't like it because God didn't let you pick your color in the womb. You know what I'm saying? God didn't pick, be like, oh, you want to be Cuban, but your parents are black? Cool, you Cuban. You know what I'm saying? God didn't allow us to do those things. So to me, I feel like, yes, I definitely feel like it's stupid that you hate me for my skin tone when your ass didn't get to pick your skin tone. It's dumb as hell. I will always think that is the dumbest thing ever. But I'm not gonna, continuously harass them and do all that. I'm gonna just stay away from them. Hell, I stay away from family members that I don't like because of their behavior. So, I just feel like the group, there are people that really need to respect other people that they don't agree with it, and stop arguing with them. Stop making them seem like they're a terrible person. Stop name shaming them, and stop telling them they're this gender and they're not. I watched an interview not too long ago of this guy, and he was meeting with a girl or a person who was saying they're non-binary. And he told her, or the non-binary person, see, and forgive me, because when you know him and her, and these people change stuff, it's hard to bounce back and forth. So excuse me for that. But anywho, the person was like, no, I'm non-binary. And he's like, well, I see you as a girl. And the person was pissed off. And then the person was like, well, I see you as a cis male or something. And I'm not even going to say, forgive me for the weird names, because I don't even understand half of it. But he was like, you're a cis man. And he's like, no, I'm a man. And the person was like, no, you're not. I don't see you that way. So I'm not calling you a man. And for me, it's like, well, why does he have to respect what you want, but you can't respect what he wants? And that's where I'm at with it. And then it's like, you can't get mad if a person calls you something, because that's what it is biblically and scientifically, that you're a man and you're a woman. And then you get pissed off if they don't correct it right away, right? So it's like, if you want me to call you Jim after I've been calling you Becky for 25 years, you're going to have to forgive me if I accidentally call you Becky. And that's the problem, I feel like, really pisses me off, because people don't respect that. Like, change takes a little bit. You know what I'm saying? With anything. Like, when a kid's going to a new school, it takes change. It takes them a while to get acclimated. It might take them quick. Some people adapt to change within 24 hours. No problem. But I guarantee you, not every single person is going to be perfect with a change. So the fact that, you know, some people won't even give the person the benefit of the doubt. Like, oh, sorry, I meant to call you Jim, my bad. You know, a person who understands it, I feel like, is reasonable. Like, oh, you know what? I have been Becky for 25 years and now I'm going to Jim. Cool. You know, if you accidentally call me Becky, it's fine. You know, like my niece, who is now going by him, he, him, I believe. It's like, some people are calling him this one, and then the other way is calling him this way. So it's like, it's hard, but my niece is like, Auntie, I understand that some people in our family aren't going to understand what I want and what I go through, but it is what it is. I know who I am and who I want to be, and that's what it is. And if people call me a different name from the name I've been born with, that's fine. You know, and if people don't, that's fine too. And it's great, because that's, I say my niece view, is very reasonable, understanding, and so it has such a great heart, but is not pushing the understanding of what he wants to be called. You know what I'm saying? So I do believe on the other side of the fence of, I want people to, or I'm not gonna say I appreciate that people are being who they are and they're standing up for what they believe in. And I do feel as though, you know, standing up for who you are is amazing, and fighting for what you believe in, and loving yourself, because there are so many people who are taking their lives because of the harassment and the bullying from all aspects of being part of that community, from being Black, Asian, white, Black, Mexican, all of the races. There are so many people taking their lives because people are just freaking terrible. And I give you guys praise for standing up for what you believe in. And regardless of what people don't agree with, you're still fighting for you and your group of people. So I do, you know, respect that, and I honor that. And I think that you should keep fighting for yourself and for your people, you know, your crew. And I think that that's the amazing part of it, because if communities all around came together and races came together, not having no wars against different skin tones and all of that stuff, but just standing tall and supporting your people, like, that's a blessing. Because there's so many categories of people, right? There's like Black people who could get together and support each other and do things, and then it's like mixed race people, or you like photography, so you're with your photography people. Like, there's so many categories of people, and I feel as though if you are with your people and you are doing things to make better opportunities and create better opportunities for your people, that's amazing. And so I feel like, as a whole, I think that everybody should do that. We should uplift each other for whatever that we're doing and trying to do, and it'll make the world a better place. Now, is it going to be perfect? Heck no, because I am such a fairy tale person when it comes to that. I would love world peace. I would love for all these countries to just get along and help each other. And I would love for that. But in the real world that we're living, that may never happen. So that's how I feel about that. Again, I'm not hating on anybody who wants to choose to be something else, or identify as whatever they want to identify. I just feel like everybody deserves respect, And if you don't know, ask questions. And if you don't want to ask questions, step away and don't be a douchebag. Okay? The next question here is, how do I feel about the U.S. and Gaza bombing Israel? This is what I don't understand. Why are we doing this? Why is the United States involved? I feel like there are so many things that people get involved in general, not just the U.S., but they get involved in stuff that ain't their business. And I don't understand why you guys feel it is right to hurt other countries that have less resources, or you feel is less than you. It really pisses me off that we're doing this. It really pisses me off that we go to war. It grinds my gears, because I feel like we have so many resources, right? And we could share those resources with other people and help just build and make these communities stronger. But we always want to dominate. And that's not always the best case, and I haven't looked deep into the war and all of that, of what's going on. I'm not gonna say the war, I'm gonna say the attack. I'm not that deep into it, just because I'm an empath and I don't want to feel that. I don't want to feel that, because I really love kids and care about kids, and the amount of kids I done seen on social media get killed really makes me freaking angry. And I just don't understand why we're doing this. So, and I know it's like population control and all this other stuff. There's so many things we can talk about, and that's going to be another episode. I'm going to talk about conspiracies and all that stuff. I can't wait. I'm going to have some guests on there too, so we going to get there, and it's going to be great. But I'm all about the love, man, and I don't understand why we got to keep terrorizing these other people. And I don't understand why there's just so much BS going on in the world that we can't just kumbaya it, and all these egos running these countries, and people be like, my vote don't matter. I'm like, it hella does, because y'all so worried about the president, but y'all ain't worrying about who the president's speaking for and who's looking stupid for. Like, the government controls every damn thing, and people don't realize that. And the president is just the face, right? The president's like, oh, I want to make all these changes and all this other stuff, but if the government don't approve it, it ain't happening. So it's like, we got to realize that and change stuff up, because if we want to make change, we got to help be the change. And I just don't understand why we're bombing Israel. I don't understand why we got to hate people so much. I just don't understand. Like, the hate is so strong in this country that it's literally killing. It's murdering, it's terrorizing, it's doing all of these things. And it just hella bothers me, because I just don't get it. Like, I live on a block where there's so many people from different places. And if something bad were happen, you can go to your neighbor and ask for help. Like, my neighbor and I were pregnant at the same time. And I was dealing with so much. And they were so concerned about me. And they were like, if you need help anytime, we got you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I just don't understand why there's so much freaking hate. Yeah, I don't like people's behavior. I can definitely agree with that. You know what I'm saying? I done seen some things, and I'm just like, I don't understand why you would do that. But, but then I dial back and get a little psychological with certain things, because I have a lot of training and just so many things that I've experienced in life, and the people I've worked with and the programs I've helped run. Like, I get certain things. But what I don't understand is, like, why can't we just all just freaking get along? You know what I'm saying? There's other countries that don't deal with none of the stuff we deal with in the U.S. And you know what? You don't never hear about them countries, because they ain't got social media. They don't have people coming to their country. They are not money hungry. They don't even deal with money. They don't even deal with time. But there was a guy who traveled to another country. Don't remember what the video was or where the guy went. But he asked the guy, so when's your birthday? And he's like, I don't know what that is. He's like, I know what it is. He's like, but I don't know what it is here, because we don't do birthdays. We literally live our life every single day, helping each other, loving each other, celebrating each other. Like, he's like, we don't even have clocks. We don't do any of those things. We don't have money. It's all, hey, I'm going to work in your field and I can get some rice. Or, hey, I'm going to help you do something. I can get some beans. Like, they literally just help each other and they give each other resources. And that's legit. So it's like, why can't we just do that? Like, you know, it kills me. And then they don't even have laws, like, because they don't have crime like that. They literally help each other. You know, in Germany, I was watching on Netflix as well. They have programs to help people who commit crimes get back in the community. Now, the cool thing is you live in an apartment, you work, you can't spend any of your money because obviously you can't go nowhere. Depending on your sentence, you're there for either life or whatever. But they don't put you in a cell with a person who you may not get along with or potentially could harm you or you harm them. And they're not prisoners. Like, they're still treated as citizens, but they have to work for things and then they get rehabilitated. And it's like, instead of helping the people, we're destroying the people, you know, in the U.S. It's a hot damn mess. So I really don't understand why, again, we're at war and what is the problem and why we can't just treat people and take care of people. And it just bothers me. And I just hope and pray for those people in Israel or Gaza. Again, like I said, I haven't even looked too deep into it, so the question could be wrong, but I don't know. I really pray that it gets better with them. Now, this is one of my favorite questions I read about how do I feel about the prison system, because I've been a correctional officer. I think it's stupid as hell. It's very unorganized, and it's set up for people to fail. And if you haven't listened to me being a correctional officer, listen to that episode. I go into detail just about my experience and whatnot. But I literally feel as though, yes, people should pay for their crimes, right? But I also feel like putting someone in a cell and leaving them there to fend for themselves around other criminals is blasphemy. These prisons that I've researched and watched documentaries on, the level of torture, and I'm not saying physical torture, but torture mentally, is making people more crazy. So when they get out of prison or jail, they're so mentally effed up that they are likely going to be back in the system. They don't get no help. They come in with the same damn clothes they had when they left. And some prisons give them like, $30 check to take the damn train or bus back home. It's like, what about them eating? What about programs? What about making them transition into the society? Like, me personally, I just don't get why we just ruin more people. Like, yeah, if you got a habitual offender, literally dive deep into their brain and say, what the hell is going on for you to even start this? Like, one of the kids, and I'm not sure if I talked about him on the podcast, but he has like 9 brothers and sisters. His mom's on drugs, dad's on drugs, and his elderly grandmother is taking care of all of them. He's like, I'm going to reoffend because my grandma can't take care of all of us. And I come to jail and I get 3 meals. Well, actually, when I worked there, they got 6 meals. I got clothes on my feet. I get to take a shower. I'm not musty. I get to go to school. I get to watch TV. I'd rather do this than be at my grandma's with 9 other kids running around, cigarettes blowing in the air. Like, you know what I'm saying? Look at the severity of what the hell everybody's going through. You know, to see, okay, maybe I shouldn't put this person in this cell with this person. Or maybe I shouldn't put a thief with a thief. Like, because one, they're going to teach each other shit. And then when they get out, they're going to be smarter criminals. Like, literally put people in programs to help them be better. Not saying you're going to change their minds, because you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it. But it's like, you have to really realize what is going on with these kids and figure out, or kids, because I've worked with kids, Lord, but the people who are in the system and the prison systems and all that, literally dive deep into their brain, figure out what's wrong with them, figure out where they came from, figure out why they do what they do. and help them mentally. And if they got life in prison for something, help them mentally, help them to understand what they did, how they can be better, even though they're locked in a cell. Hell, give them better activities. Let them have windows so they can see, get some kind of vitamin D. I feel like it is jacked up that people don't get time outside, like in the yard or whatever. I think that being outside helps people's mood and also can help your facility be better. It's almost like having a daycare, but they're housed forever. Give them different activities to do. I feel like if we put in more work in these prison systems than we do these damn celebrities watching their stupid stories, we could literally have a better world. But again, the world functions on dysfunction, which is so freaking stupid. And that's why the prison systems are just trash. And in the jobs are so terrible that all these case managers and social workers are really overworked. These correctional officers are overworked. The probation officers are overworked because no one wants to do the job because the system has failed. So it's failing all of these other people who are burnt the hell out, who care about these people in the system. And then it gets ruined. That's why I feel like some of these people end up having relations with the damn prisoners because they see potential. Not saying it's right, because hell to the no. There's too much people in the world that you could date, but you want to date somebody locked up? It's crazy. But if we just cared a little more, the system could run better. And I've said this on my podcast for the correctional officer episode, and I was saying, it really bothers me, and I might have said it, I don't remember, but it bothers me that we don't care, and then the people that do care get burnt out. They get treated so shitty. An example, I'm just kind of going back to that. I remember, and again, I might have said this, but I remember I cared a lot about the kids, and because I didn't sleep with the other guards, they didn't care about that I cared about the kids, and they didn't have my back. They killed me with that because I wasn't part of the BS and sleeping with the other staff. They didn't have my back. So it's stuff like that ruins good people to want to help the people that need it the most. And the system is always going to fail until somebody gets it together, unless or somebody owns a prison and changes the whole dynamic of it to make it better. There are some wardens that hella change the system, that actually is involved with their prison and talking to the correctional officers, talking to the prisoners, to make stuff better, make their stay better. Now, there will be some people that disagree with me, like, nah, F that, they need to suffer and all that other shit. But it's like, there's so many people that do crimes every single freaking day and they don't get caught and they still living their lavish best lives. Epstein and his whole situation and whatnot. It's like, all those people in the limelight are doing some of the most shadiest shit. And there are people who are exposing them and trying to expose them. And then they end up coming up missing, or they get killed, or their careers go down the drain, or they become quote unquote crazy because they're revealing stuff that they were afraid to reveal. Now they're having that power to do so. It's like the world is full of demonic shit. Whew. Excuse my French, but let me tell y'all something. It is so demonic, and people are thriving off of that. It's crazy because people are like, oh, how's your podcast doing? And I'm like, there's people that support me, there's people that don't, and that's perfectly fine. And will I become rich off this podcast? I may or may not. I don't know. But I am not going to sacrifice my soul so my podcast can launch. Okay? I'm not doing that. I'm not going to demoralize myself for paper. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. No. Got me all hot and bothered. Let me tell you. Hot, heated, and bothered. Okay. The next question about how do I feel about Jada and her shenanigans? Let me tell y'all something. I don't agree with what she's doing and how she's been acting and hurting Will. I don't know the severity of their relationship, but what I have seen from the little clips of interviews, because I ain't trying to give her no clout, I feel like what she's doing is hella disrespectful. It's cold. And I pray for Will's mental health, because she literally is tearing him down and embarrassing the hell out of him. You know, when me and my ex broke up, the first time he lied and told his family that I broke up with him because a girl was obsessed with him. You know how embarrassed I was from the fuckery and the lying? And forgive me for cussing, but I'm really trying to not cuss. It's hard, but I'm trying. But anyways, dealing with that and then going back, because we redated again, going back to his family, I literally questioned him, like, what does your family know about our breakup? Because they think I broke up with you because someone's obsessed. He never really answered the question, and because he lied on me and made me look stupid. So now I'm looking stupid coming back and giving you another chance. You know what I'm saying? So going along the lines of Will and Jada, if he stays with her, he's going to be publicly shamed and talked about, and he's going to be called stupid and all these words. Words are so strong and powerful, unless you have the ability to literally block those words and not even dive into them and get them in your spirit. But words are so powerful, and people embarrassing you is freaking terrible, because who wants to be in a room full of people talking shit about them? Like, yes, you're going to be in a room full of people, because there's people that feel like my podcast is stupid, and I don't really care, because they ain't said it to my face, you know. But it's like, people are literally publicly embarrassing and talking about Will like he is the scum of the earth, and calling him these really terrible names, and the same thing with Jada as well. But it's like, I think that her actions are really gonna ruin him, and it's tearing him down. And it may not be. It might be a publicity stunt. We don't know. We don't know what's going on in their relationship. We have no idea. But it's like, I really feel like what you put out in the light is the opportunity for people to ruin you even more. Like, everybody don't need to know your business online. Everybody don't need to know that you was in love with Tupac, or he was really the love of your life, or he had alopecia. Like, he, one, is not here to talk or defend himself. And two, it's like, why are you doing this? But one thing, one of my teachers, shout out to Dr. Khan, when I was in college, she told me, if you continuously worry about why people do what they do, you are never going to be stress-free. And, you know, I haven't put too much care into what is going on, but what I've seen her doing is really jacked up. And I feel like, I hope that they can get the help they need to mend all of this and to fix their relationship. But if they get a divorce, it is what it is. You know, all of these things that she's doing is terrible. Now, what kills me is, because this would happen, if Will was dogging her, oh, it would be hell on earth times 5,000. But she is doing it. There's a lot of people like feeling sorry for her. And I'm like, I really hate this stereotypical women and men, because I literally am on Johnny Depp's side when he came out about men being abused. There's so many men that are abused and they don't even speak up. I was at a good friend's house not too long ago, just hanging out for a game night, and we had a discussion about men being raped. And people keep sitting here saying that men can't be raped, and, oh, you're lying, and how can a woman rape you, and all this other stuff. And we were talking about that, and it got, the conversation was fantastic. And we talked about that. Men don't speak up because people don't believe them. And it sucks, because the stereotypes are just BS. The stereotypes are stupid. Well, you can't, a man is stronger than a woman. Man, if there's 5 girls trying to dominate a man, you think he gonna get out of it? Especially depending on the size of a woman, the strength of a woman, like, and the size of him as well as a man. Like, nah, man, like, people tear down men so much, but then they back into a quarter. Suicide rates are higher in men than women, because men can't express themselves, and they feel like they can't express themselves because of the stereotype that men gotta be strong and they can't do this and nothing can happen to them. It's like, nah, they're the most victims out there. So I feel sorry for Will at the end of the day, and I hope that, you know, she just stops doing what she's doing. And I also hope that they can mend it, or she publicly apologizes for her acting a damn fool, making him look stupid. And I'm not going to dive deep into their drama because I could care less. You know what? I'm so tired of the toxicity that celebrities are showing. And then the good people that are doing stuff, they're not getting recognized as much. You know what I'm saying? It just kills me. But also I feel like too, when people are doing good, they're actually doing good and not filming it all the time because they're just being humble and showing that they care about someone. Everything don't need to be filmed and showed, you know? So I feel like, I don't know, these celebrities, some of them are just mad toxic, and there's other things in the world that could be being worried about instead of certain things, you know, like the Blueface and Krishan people. They kill me with they nonsense and their toxicity. And I just seeing how much a man could tear down a woman and the stuff that she went through and he went through, like, they both need therapy, extensive therapy and help and prayer and all that. Like, they have so much stuff going on that it is just a freaking mess, and it's just terrible. You know, so it is just, it's terrible how these celebrities got so much influence. That's what kills me. It just kills me. So yeah, that's how I feel about Will and Jada. Now, this last question kind of dials back into everything I already, you know, kind of expressed, but thank you for asking this question. What do you think our biggest downfall is as a country? Everything. No, I'm kidding. Not everything. A few of the downfalls I feel like is people praise money more than anything. And money has separated the country, the world, people's families, friendships, all of those things. And Monty made a good point months back. We were talking about how man created money. And because man created money, it definitely has ruined so many people and so many things. And it has created a ripple in families because there are family members who are rich and family members who are poor. And they feel like they're obligated to take care of those family members and do all these things. And I feel like, to a point, yes, you could bless people. And it's great to bless people. I love helping people. I've, you know, given homeless food. There was a guy when I drove for Lyft every morning when I made my own breakfast, I would give him my leftovers, you know. Because I knew I wasn't going to eat it, and I don't want to keep wasting food when there's food to go around the whole world. And, you know, I always, if I have clothes, like, I always clean out my clothes and I give them away to, like, a family, or I take them to a homeless shelter. You know, I feel like because people praise money so freaking much that when they don't have it, they're crazy as hell. And when they do have it, they do the most outlandish stuff. And then a lot of people end up dying because they feel like they're invincible now that they have money. So I feel like because money has ran the world, it literally is just ruining people mentally, emotionally, and physically. I mean, look at all these women that have paid for BBLs and stuff, and some of them are dying because they're getting it done at Lil Boo Boo's apartment complex who's putting semen in their asses. Like, you know, money is just terrible. Money is the root of all evil, and I truly believe that. And it's hard out here for a pimp when they're trying to make the money for the rent, okay? I'm not, like, it's hard. Like even for us, like, looking for a place, right? Like, we're getting all our stuff together to get a house. But it's like, it's hard to get a house when a mortgage is cheaper than damn rent. You know, it's just stupid. So it just, money has really ruined everything. Some more of our downfalls is just this lie of what a man and a woman should look like when it comes to their bodies. I think that, you know, in the 90s, you know, women didn't have big breasts, big asses. They were like slim, flat-chested, low booty, you know, wore baggy clothes and stuff like that. And it's like now these women are revealing every freaking thing, and they don't even leave room for the women that respect themselves enough to cover up. Now, I'm not saying women who are half naked don't respect themselves. Let me throw that out there. I just feel like it is so hard for us women who literally are trying to find a good man or aren't all about sex, and you're literally handing sex to these fools online in their pocket. Again, going back to my ex-boyfriend, he was talking to girls behind my back, and he was giving girls money for pictures and shit. And it's like, you're in a whole relationship. You know, I don't got the perfect body, but for you to be looking at all these hoes and sending these hoes money, that kills me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, now that ruins my confidence as a woman because I'm not skinny enough or I'm not thick enough, you know? And then there's these predators out there who are like, oh yeah, you know, this woman is so sexy. And then they start being freaking weird and asking for weird shit. Like, it literally ruins people, you know? It ruins people's confidence, self-esteem. And then all these young girls getting lipo and all this shit. I remember when I was in high school, girls were getting breast implants. And I'm like, for what, bro? You're still growing. Like, I don't understand. You know? Like, I just don't get it. And that's why a lot of these people, I feel like, do drugs and stuff, because that's all people care about is sex. A lot of people, I'm not gonna say everybody, but it's like a lot of people, all they care about is sex, because they literally are having brain sex with you because you're posting all your body online. And then when their lover is not treating them good this week, they go step out and do stuff. Like, literally, sex sells in the most terrible freaking way. You know what I'm saying? I just, it really freaking bothers me because of it, right? Like, and we were just watching Netflix, Botched, like people's plastic surgery went to hell. And then these people get pissed because the people can't fix it. Or they fix it and it's not to perfection. Ain't nobody perfect. God made us different for a reason. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to, let me throw this out there too. I'm not trying to push God on anybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a Christian, and I'm going to talk about God in my podcast a few times. And if you don't like it, I understand. I'm not about to cuss you out about it. We got different views on stuff, and that's fine. But the way you were created, by whatever God or universe or rock you think created you, we're not perfect. And we're never going to be perfect. So society making people feel like their bodies need to be perfect or ruin their confidence. If they don't have money, they can't get certain things fixed. And it sucks because insurance don't pay for everything. Like, there are some people little kids that got rotten teeth, and their parents can't even afford to get them new teeth or get root canals, go to the dentist, none of that stuff. So you're literally just ruining people, and they're not able to take care of themselves because they can't afford to. So I just think like these stereotypes of bodies are it's just trash. You literally are making people feel like they're just so ugly because they can't get a BBL. First of all, a lot of y'all people that got BBLs, and I'm gonna say people because men and women get BBLs, y'all look a hot damn mess. Make sure your thighs match your butt. You can't look like a P, you know, the letter P, literally, because you ain't got enough money to get your thighs together. Like, I can't do it. And then, like, oh my gosh, getting breast implants, like having Z titties for what? Your back is gonna hurt. I don't understand that. And you look crazy. Like, you literally, you look a damn mess. I'm not even gonna lie to you. And you may like it, but me personally, I feel like you look a mess. I don't understand. And then it's just infecting your body. There are so many people that are getting infections and they're dying because of botched surgeries. And some of them are dying from professionals. You know what I'm saying? So these professionals want their money. They're going to do it right, but they're going to do it enough to make sure they get your money and they don't get arrested for the bad things they're doing. You know? It's just freaking terrible. We're not living in a country where they're like, love yourself, care about yourself. You know, mental health became a big thing during COVID, and I feel like we should have been talking about this years ago. Because there's so many people that are like we're going to say my parents' generation, who are mentally jacked up and they will not get help. Because growing up, if you had problems or you needed help, they would look at you like, oh, you got your, like, the R word. I'm not going to say it because I don't want people to cancel me, but, or they would be like, oh, you're mentally ill because your kid can't sit still, or they got ADHD. They want to diagnose people so quick, but not be like, nah, my kid's just a kid and they need to run around. Or, my kid needs a little more help reading. That doesn't mean they're stupid. Some kids get it, some kids don't. They're visual learners. Some kids are visual learners, and some kids literally need, they can hear stuff and they're good to go. It's like going back to what I said with prisons. It's all about learning and researching. That's our downfall. Our other downfall is inflation. Oh my gosh. And freaking inflation. I was in Cali and my nephew and I went to go get Mickey D's. And just getting 2 chicken McNugget meals, it was $30. And a cheeseburger, it was $30. Like, why is it so freaking expensive? Why? I don't understand. Like, and the food is killing us. There's so many things that are in the U.S. that are illegal in other countries. When I was in England last year, man, I freaking loved it because all the food didn't make me feel tired. It didn't make me feel bloated. Hell, even the beer didn't make me feel bloated. Okay. And it was just crazy. Like, the air was cleaner. I just felt so much cleaner. And then coming back to the U.S., I just felt crusty as hell. And it makes sense why, like, a lot of Americans are overweight. It is rough. And then trying to eat healthy. Shit, some of the healthy food we got here is bad for us because of some of the preservatives and stuff. It's just, I don't understand why we're not taking care of our people. And what's sad is, and I'm going to talk about black people for a second. They had literally a town full of black people. I think it was in Oklahoma. I could be wrong, but there was a town in Oklahoma and it was just black people, black businesses, black this, black that, black, and they got burned down because they didn't want black people to succeed. What I don't understand is what is the problem? What is the problem with somebody succeeding? And I'm not even going to say racist. What is the freaking problem? That's another thing. That's another downfall we have. We are trying so hard to ruin the next person's goal and dream when there are literally so many goals and dreams that can be created. There are so many things that are created. There's so many bakeries. There's so many damn grocery stores. There's so many music artists. There's so many plays. There's so many books. There's so many, all of these things. And some of these things could be repetitive, but there might be 3 sentences that's different. What is the problem? Why can't people succeed? Why can't people be in their own little bubble and want to do what they want? I don't understand why we keep doing this and ruining people and like, oh, you know what? I don't want you to succeed, so I'm going to ruin your business. My best friend is a freaking chef, been a chef since we were the 6th grade. And there are people who are always talking about, oh, yeah, girl, we glad you doing what you're doing. But they don't support none of her shit. She had a whole restaurant. And it was a restaurant/event center. And there were people who would comment on her post but not share her post. There are people who didn't even come to her restaurant. There are people who we were around 24/7 and still didn't support her. I just don't freaking get it. I don't get it. Hell, even me. Okay, let me tell you something. I have had this podcast for a year almost. And there are people who haven't listened to my podcast, shared my podcast, and this is their excuse. Oh, why I don't listen to it on Spotify? Why I don't listen to it on Apple Music? Why I don't listen to it on YouTube? Like, but still haven't supported nothing I've done but talk about, oh, yeah, we got you, girl. We gonna listen. Hell, if you don't listen, still share my post. It's like, we are so quick to shut each other down because we jealous that somebody did it. Like, why? Why is this country so against each other? I just don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah, there's jealousy, but let me tell you something. If you want to do it, you can. It's just putting in the work. You know how long it took me to figure out how to get my podcast on Spotify? I mean, on Apple Music or Apple Podcasts. Lord, let me get my words together. It took me a minute, and then I finally got approved and did it. It takes me on average about 2 to 3 hours to edit one episode. I literally still do it. I've been working on 3 books for the past 5 years. It is so hard to do it, but I'm doing it. And there are people who've published books and self-published and done all these things, but it takes a while to do it. If you are dedicated and you can literally take a couple hours to do it, do it. Yeah, I have a baby now. And when he sleeps, I'm doing stuff. Or I'm taking a nap myself because, I'm tired. And Mama Pookie tired, okay? But it's like we're so quick to tear each other down and to ruin each other when you literally could come together It kills me. It freaking kills me. But on that note, shout out to everybody who continues to send me questions and who's continuing again to listen to my podcast. I am just ecstatic that I have the opportunity to speak and to do stuff and to have my podcast on these platforms. And I pray that next year I am able to be in the top 100. That would be legit. And so I just appreciate everyone. And coming up on my year anniversary, I will be doing a giveaway. So if you listen and you send me a text for just the anniversary podcast, you will be selected to get a little gift. So if you want to send in and be a part of it, you can text 720-766-0844 and text anniversary, and I will select you to get a special gift for listening and me celebrating my year anniversary of my podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and have a great rest of your day.